Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are. Unfortunately, it's going to be on the ground in my garage. However, I finally made it. We're going to do this sprinkler base building live today. So this is the OG, as you've seen in a lot of my videos. So it's 3/4 inch schedule 80 PVC. And it works good. It's kind of small though, only one outlet, and it's only 3/4 inch. So today we're going to do 1 inch, and we're going to do two outlets, and there's going to be a valve on each outlet. I believe I have two valves over there. So let's get right into it. What you're going to need for this project, of course, your PVC glue and primer. It doesn't matter on the color. The yellow is like the medium, I think. Let me see here. Clear Cleaner, yellow ABS cement. So this would be for like ABS. I've used it on PVC before. We're just going to use it anyway. It doesn't really matter. We're not putting crazy amounts of pressure on it. So the gray is like, and clear is like for PVC, but if you can, get the PVC stuff. I have the ABS stuff. We're going to use that today. So I got all my fittings, all my tees. You're going to need a PVC cutter. One of those bad boys right there. So you'll need, I'm going to do 2 outlets. But if you were just doing one, you just eliminate 1 tee. So you need 3 tees. One of them you want to be threaded, so that you can just thread your sprinkler right into the top. You don't have to put a whole bunch of fittings onto there. Need some reducer bushings, some slipped NPT fittings. We'll go through a complete list once we start building it here. And then I bought a 10-foot length of 1 inch schedule 40 PVC. So it doesn't need to be schedule 80. Schedule 80 is way overboard. This is just what I had laying around for this one. So we're gonna go right for the cutter off the bat here. And this old one is this old one's 12 inches. So we're gonna stick with this footprint. I think it's a nice large footprint. It works well, and I like it. So we're gonna go with this footprint. So we're gonna make it. We're gonna go with 2 6-inch pieces into a T. That's going to give us a couple more inches, just because we're going to have 2 sprinklers on here at once, just for demonstration and testing purposes. I want to make sure there's not a lot of movement in it. So let's go ahead and get that done. So we're going to measure out 6 inches, which is right about there. Grab your little marker. Mark. The nice thing about this is you only have to measure it once, and then you can just put the cut piece up beside the piece you are cutting, and it will measure up perfectly. So this is fairly simple, guys. You just line the mark up. I find once you get tension on it, give it a little twist, and then start going. That really makes sure that the cutter gets in there. 1 inch is a little tricky, but there's our first 6-inch piece, guys. So we're gonna need all in all, we're gonna need 4 of these bad boys for the end legs, and then I'm gonna make the first leg for the first sprinkler 4 inches, and then I'm gonna do a 6-inch piece in between them, and then another 4 inches, just so that we space those out so that we can operate impacts of them running into each other. So we'll do that. I'm just going to go ahead, now that I have this one, and mark out 3 more. Save some time. So go ahead and get these cut. Really need music in these videos, eh? The lives. I don't know. I think I should put music in the live videos. There's that guy. This is an old PVC cutter. I've used this for my neighbor's irrigation, my parents' irrigation, my irrigation. I've had this thing for probably 10 years, and it still cuts through this like butter. So it's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime purchase. But getting it started is it's kind of tricky. So there we go, guys. There's our 4 pieces for the legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut all of our material first before we start gluing stuff together, just so we're not trying to cut and knocking the glue over and everything. So there's our 4 pieces for the legs. Now I said we were going to do 4 inches, which will be right about there. So we'll go ahead and we'll need 2 4 inches and 1 8-inch piece, guys. So we'll go ahead and get this cut. I don't know how many questions I got on my videos of what I use for a sprinkler base and how I actually make them. So I've got 2 of these 3/4 inch ones, and they just don't seem to provide enough water for the big impacts. So next year for my videos with the big impacts, I want to make sure I have enough water, which would be really nice. So the price for doing this is a little bit more expensive than it has been in the past. Ever since COVID, the price of everything's gone absolutely silly. And the price of plastics like PVC, ABS, rubber, all that stuff has just shot up incredibly high. So I don't know what to tell you. It's just supply and demand, I guess. All in all, I bought enough material here to build 2 of these sprinkler stands, and it came out to $118 Canadian. So that's the glue, all the fittings, the pipe. The pipe's the most expensive part. You go Schedule 80 and it's almost doubles the cost. That's why we're doing Schedule 40 today. So there's my 8-inch piece for the middle. So now that we have all of our material cut, guys, we are done with that. Sending it up here, and we'll go through some of our fittings. So there's our 2 1-inch slip by 1-inch NPT tees for the sprinkler connections. Those are going to be in the middle there, so they're going to sit somewhere like this, with those guys going into it like that. Then we have our end caps, one there. Sorry, our NTs, not our end caps. My bad, guys. And there. Our 4-inch pieces are going to sit there, kind of like that. And then on each one of those, we've got, those are going to roll off. We've got our legs, like that. And then we've got a 1-inch slip by 1-inch NPT adapter for the end. We've got a 1-inch NPT by 1/2-inch NPT bushing for a gauge or whatever else you want to put on this end. We've got 2 1-inch caps for the ends that we're not using. And then we've got a 1-inch by 3/4 for our garden hose connection on the other end. So let's start gluing this stuff together. So really the main thing you want to make sure is that you're doing this on a flat surface so that you don't, when you get done your final assembly, the pieces don't move and you get a lot of rocking. It doesn't really matter because it's on grass, but you want it to be as stable as possible. So first off, we're going to put the tees in, the pipes in the tees for the legs. So that's going to be the ones that we cut first. So if you don't know how to do PVC gluing, it is, you get a primer. Yeah, there goes one. You get a primer and you get a glue. The primer cleans the plastic and softens it. So you need a primer. It really gets the material ready to accept the cement. So we're going to start off with this guy right here. And you always want to make sure that you prime and glue both ends. Don't just do one, stick it in there. It won't be as strong. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a little bit of our primer. We're just going to rub it around the outside like this, all the way up. You can go a little bit farther than you go in, but that's all there. And then same to the inside, guys. Just like that. Then put that back in there. And then we're going to take our glue. You don't need a ton of glue. Don't slap the glue on there. Just one there. A little bit there. Make sure you get even coverage. Slip that back in there. And then you take both pieces, insert, give it a twist by 90. And sometimes what will happen is it'll want to push itself back out. Those are just the materials expanding and fusing together. And there we go. One piece done. So we're going to get these guys in there. So same exact mode of operations here. Take our primer, prime the pipe, prime the joint here. Just like that. Give it a couple seconds. Take our glue. Make sure we have good coverage on both sides. Like that. Same exact thing. Grab, turn by 90, hold for a minute. And then you can wipe off the excess if you really desire to. If I was doing like licensed plumbing in a home, probably would want to, but it's not doing anything but strengthening the joint by leaving it on there. Just don't put so much on that it drips. You just don't want a crazy amount of drips. So that's going to be this side. And as you can see, that's not moving. That is fused together. So pretty simple stuff. So now what we're going to do is we're going to finish this side. So we're going to grab one of our caps here. And this is just a 1-inch PVC Schedule 40 cap. We're going to take it, put it on the end that we're not using. So I'm going to prime this up, prime the cap up, get a little bit of glue here. There we go. And these are kind of tricky because they really like to squish themselves out. So you just turn it, squish it in there. Oh, dripping all over the other plastic here. So there we go. It's coming together. Then we're going to put our 1-inch slip by 1-inch MPT fitting on the other end. And that's what's going to connect into our water supply. So go ahead and prime that up, prime this up, like that. Give ourselves a little bit of glue there, a little bit of glue here. And twist. So there we go. There's one leg done of the old sprinkler stand there. I like to get everything glued into place where it doesn't matter if it's flat, and then you're not trying to make it flat and fighting around with the mobility in all these joints. So that's one leg. We'll go ahead and glue the other leg down, and then we will start the process that really matters, that it's upright, and that's the T's that the sprinklers are going to sit on. So we'll go ahead and crack a drink here, all this talking. But we'll go ahead and we'll do the same thing to this side, guys. So we're going to add our 2 nipples. I'm going to do this all at once here, just so it's not so boring for you guys. So do that. Take our glue. Twist. If you're working with multiple pieces like this, you kind of have to be fast because the glue does set reasonably quick. And as you can see, it pushed that piece right back out. So there we go. And you can look inside, make sure that those pieces are bottomed out. There's a little collar that they sit on. Make sure that they're all bottomed out. Okay, it's not going anywhere, fused together. So this is where it's kind of important to make sure that you orientate your T's facing each other. You don't want to think the bottom's the top and do that, because we're going to put the gauge up here and the cap down here this time. So we have water going in the bottom here. It's going to be capped just so if we decide to attach 2 of these together, the water flows kind of nicely and it doesn't. It's just kind of an OCD thing that I have. So we're going to go ahead and install our cap on the end here. Just like so. And I'm going to be doing this is going to be a double valve setup just for sprinkler testing and sprinkler videos in the new year. I'm going to be doing another video where I build another single one like the original one that I have, just so that I can go through it a little bit more in depth, and it'll be a bit easier to watch, so you won't have to watch me glue every single piece together. I just thought this would be a fun thing to do live with you guys, and hopefully I can inspire you guys to go build your own sprinkler stands. Like I said, it used to be cheaper. It used to be the way to go. You could buy the pre-made metal bases, you know, for 40, 50 bucks. But if you go 1 inch now, I don't know, you'd be pretty much 40, 50 bucks for one of them. Like I said, it was $118, I think, for 2 of these. I have the receipt here, actually. $118.31. So that's that. So we're going to put the slip connector on that side, which is not that one, which is this one. So prime that guy. Main reason I held off on the live till tonight is because I didn't have any room to work in here. I still don't really have any room to work in here. But that's all right. We make do with what we have. Do that. Do that. There we go. This one really wants to push off. I think I rushed it a little bit. So that is our 2 legs done. So now comes the important part. You want to make sure that these are going to be standing straight up. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to install both of these on the long single middle joint first and make sure that they are perfectly aligned so that we don't have any off kilter wobbling. So we'll just go, the first one doesn't really matter, obviously. So the first one is going to be just kind of slapped on here. The second one has to match that first one, guys. So Do a little bit of that, a little bit of that. And you want to make sure this is the threaded tee, not the slip tee, if you buy more than one. So we'll do this. We'll let this set for a couple seconds. And then we're going to put the other tee on here. And then I think I have valves over there, but we don't need to install those tonight. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. So once you can't move it anymore, it's set. It's not going anywhere. So now we're going to do the other side. Oh, yep, there you go. So now we're going to do the other tee here. So we have same identical tee. So we'll prime both pieces here. And this is the part that really matters. So primed, primed. And then put the glue. There and there. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. Push, turn, eyeball it up. Oh, I think we got her. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. So that, just want to make sure it doesn't push out and turn on you when it's drying. That couldn't have gone any smoother. That is perfect. Yep, just mint. Okay, so now we'll take our two, the other one rolled all the way up here. Excuse me, guys. So now we're going to take our two end stubbies and just glue them in this long piece here. And then we will be ready to put the contraption together. I'm just going to prime everything at once, guys. If the primer dries, doesn't really matter. It softens up the material anyway. Get some, forget what end I primed. There we go. And then you go. Turn by 90. The twist just helps like move the material around. Make sure the glue is covering absolutely everything, so you don't have any weak spots in your joint. There's that. If you don't use the primer, guys, the glue doesn't have enough time to soften the material before it starts to fuse itself, so you don't get a long or a strong enough bond. So under pressure, the joints can fail, and they'll leak. So you don't want any leaks, especially in this stuff. So there's our centerpiece, guys. So this is going to sit in here just like that. And then you'll be able to run two sprinklers off of there for test. This is just a testing bench purpose. But so we're going to go ahead and install this one right here on the first foot. So we're going to prime. Oh, a nice piece of grass in this joint. It's a good thing this is only for water sprinklers. Okay, so in, lay it down on something flat, turn to make sure these point straight up, and hold them for a second. That was perfect. Okay, we'll do the other side. go. This is a nice relaxing Sunday night video for you guys. But I actually got I ordered a lapel mic today. So for my long form videos, they'll be a lot nicer to listen to. Okay. So this is kind of tricky. Stick in, rotate down on something flat, just like that. Make sure again your ends are where you want them to be. Hold it together. Nice bass, eh? Yeah, this is going to be a great bass. This is going to be awesome because I'll be able to put 2 different impacts on here, or 2 different rotors on here for my videos, and we'll be able to compare without me having to jump around and do a whole bunch of cuts and weird stuff. So there we go, guys. That is not that's not, look at that, that's not too bad. It's on cardboard, but that's perfect. And it's a little bit of a bigger footprint, just ever so slightly, than this one, of course, because you got the 2 in the middle. But then it's also an inch bigger than my original small bass that I have here. So this guy has been featured in all my sprinkler videos just because of the switchability, but it's just not big enough. So now that's hardening, we're done with the glue for now. So we're gonna put that away so we don't kick it over here. Now, what's really cool about this whole setup, I wanted to get brass closed nipples for the tops of these, but they were like $18 a piece. So the heck with that, I went galvanized. Can you see my messages? Yeah, I can. So we're gonna go, I went with 1-inch galvanized because they were $2 a piece instead of 18. So we're gonna use a little bit of thread tape on this, guys. Not too much. Of course, my thread tape has gone missing. It might be, oh, I found it. What I get for being in a mess. There we go. So this is just a Blue Monster PTFE tape. So we don't need to use dope. Never use dope on a plastic fitting. But this will just make it seal a little nicer. So we're gonna go 1 wrap on there. And each one of these is gonna go onto here like this, guys. And what this is gonna allow us to do is attach 2 ball valves onto here. You could just do 1 at the start here, but then you'd have both of them popping up at the same time. So I'm just going to grab my valves, which are just over here, I think. There's 1. that's okay. Save you guys the trouble. So there is our beautiful 1-inch PVC valve right there. It makes, you don't want to go anything smaller than 1 inch. It'll just cut down on the water flow. So you want to make sure everything is 1 inch. So we're also going to take this and do the other end here. Just like so. So now what we can do is install our valve. The only thing with doing metal into a plastic fitting, you want to make sure that the threads are aligned, obviously. So these they don't have to be crazy tight. It is PVC going into metal, so it will tighten up and make a really nice seal. So there we go. We're gonna have that right there. Make sure that it's nice and straight, just like that. So now we can operate our sprinklers just like that. Again, I'll find the other valves over there somewhere. Pop another one on there. Now what we're gonna do is, if you wanted to make this a little bit taller for whatever reason, you can use these male NPT to female slip connectors. You just thread that down into there, put a little extension of PVC on there, pop that on, then put your valve on. You can also just use slip tees and get a slip valve. I just like the threaded valves for the ease that I can, if it ever breaks, I can take it off. I don't have to worry about throwing out the whole base or cutting PVC pieces out. So now, depending on the sprinkler that you want to run, this is 1 inch. So if I wanted to run like an I-40 or something, I just pop a 1 inch nipple in there like that, throw my I-40 or 1 inch sprinkler on top of there, you're good to go. If you want to run a 3/4, you get one of these guys right here, a bushing. Thread that into there, 3/4 nipple, sprinkler on top, you're good to go. If you wanted to run a 1/2 inch, you get a 1 inch to 1/2 inch reducer. Thread that in there, 1/2 inch nipple, sprinkler on top, you're good to go. If you want to run a 1 inch supply line, you plug it in there, you plug this end, you're good to go. If you want to run, I'm not going to go through this whole thing with you, but if you want to run a 3/4 supply line, again, bushing in here, you put your garden hose fitting on there, put a garden hose in there, you're good to go. So what I'm going to do on this end, because I like to run gauges on my test basis just so I can see what they're running at, is I'm going to put if I can find it here, I just had it out. Where did it go? Here it is, the 1/2 inch one. I'm going to put a 1 inch to 1/2 inch reducer bushing in that side, and then a 1/2 inch to 1/4 brass reducer bushing in that, and then put a street elbow in that, and then have my gauge just like I do on this guy. See the gauge there? So that's going to tell me my PSI when I'm running the sprinkler, and be able to tell the nozzle performance data and all that nice stuff. So right away, we're going to just go ahead, if I can get it to take, there we go. Right away, we're just going to do this and put this in the end here. Just like that. I really like this, guys. It really sucks. It's -2 outside right now where I live. So won't be testing this out anytime soon. Maybe I know it's supposed to get we're supposed to get a little bout of warm weather there in the next week or two. We'll maybe make a long form video and test this out with a couple different sprinklers on it. But we are getting to the nitty gritty end of the year, and it's really making things difficult to get content out, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we will try. We will try. So we get this in here like so. Just like that. And then you just tighten that down, make sure that's good. I'm going to go ahead and put a 1-inch nipple in this ball valve because we're going to test out. I unfortunately had to blow out my irrigation, and that's where my underground 1-inch line is. So we won't have a ton of pressure, but I got a really cool Nelson sprinkler that I want to shoot before the end of the year. And I'm not going to give it away what it is, but it's really cool. It's not really rare, but it is a rare model. I'll give you a hint. It's a rotor, and it's a 1-inch rotor. So if you know anything about Nelson, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I really like them. They're cool. So, but anyway, that is your completed sprinkler base. So again, if you wanted to do a singular sprinkler, again, this is just a testing rig for sprinkler videos. But if you wanted to build one like this, you just put one single T in the middle. And I really like to make it long like this, really wide like that, because when you run an impact on there, it's going to be shaking that base around, and you'll want that extra large footprint. So about $50 at your local hardware store, and you can build one of these and have the satisfaction of knowing that you made it yourself. So, but hopefully in the next little bit, we're going to get this, let the weather warm up a little bit, and we'll get this out in the lawn on one of our test spigots and see what we can do. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys stick around. If you haven't subscribed, because I got no intentions of stopping. This is kind of a cool little stress relief pastime of mine. So look forward to lots of content coming out in the future. Winter's going to slow me down a little bit, but we're still going to do some sprinkler videos. So we'll keep you guys entertained. So I thank you for coming along, and I hope you guys have a good night. So we'll see you on the next one. Later, guys.